Hello, hello. Today we're going to be talking about measuring what matters in Google Ads. If you're not measuring the right thing in your Google Ads, there's a high chance that you're wasting your Google Ads budget and you're not getting the right results. Today I have Erno with me, a Google Ads expert with almost 18 years experience in Google Ads. And we're going to be talking about the ROI and performance tracking of Google Ads to make sure that you're doing the right thing and you're getting results for your Google Ads. So let's start with the first question, Erno. How do you track Google Ads performance? What is the best way to measure Google Ads ROI, return on investment?
Yeah, so Google has its own metrics within the system,
Yep.
which is like very basic. So impression, so how many times your ad appeared, um, number of clicks, how many times people clicked on your ad, CTR, which is basically the click-through rate. So how many times clicked on your ad versus seen the ad, and CPC prices. So how much you pay for how much pay for a click on average. These are very basic KPIs, but this is what you got if you are not doing a more deeper conversion setup within Google Ads. So I highly recommend everyone to don't stop there and build a more sophisticated system where actually Google will see who made a form submission on your website, who made a purchase on your website. So those are the things you need to implement on your own or implement with a specialist. So that's what I would recommend. But this is within kind of like Google Ads, so it's a bit flawed in a way that this is what only Google Ads sees about your ad. So, for example, if you run a TV campaign or a radio campaign, there will be a lot of people searching for your name in Google, and Google will see, oh well, yeah, there's quite a heavy traffic. That people come to your site, fill up the form or call your business, and then Google thinks, hey, I'm doing pretty well. Every every other people fills up the form. There are quite high demand for the brand name, but technically it's just happening because there are some other outside help to Google. So I would highly recommend not to just watch what happens within Google, but if you really want to track the performance, to check the Google Ads campaign, how much it adds to your business, really, then go with some outside metrics. So, for example, if you used to have 10 inquiries a month and you start doing Google Ads and now there are 30, then basically it seems that additional 20 is coming from the Google Ads campaign. More likely Google will show you 25 or something like that because it will pick up some brand traffic. But at the end of the day, you can see what happens within Google Ads, what happening what happening really with your business, and kind of like the truth is somewhere between in the middle. However, this is not that simple in most of the cases because usually people are running multiple campaigns. So if you run a Facebook campaign and the Google campaign, that's where everything gets much more complicated.
Yeah, just a quick one. Um, in terms of like television ads, word of mouth marketing, and things like that, it becomes a little bit difficult to attribute that because when someone hears about your brand, maybe from a TV commercial or a radio, or even from a friend, when they come and type your brand name into Google, if you're bidding on your brand term, there's a possibility they will click on that. If you're not, there's a possibility they will click on the organic. Hopefully, the
Yeah.
website is ranking, so it becomes difficult to really attribute who gets that click. So yeah, and you also mentioned outside of Google Ads. So what are those performance you need to focus on outside of Google Ads?
So, well, outside of Google Ads, well, your at your other business metrics. So, as I mentioned, this is the usual amount of conversions I get. I started Google Ads, and now I get 20 more. Now I get 50 more. So, so you can't just look Google Ads as a separate entity. It has its own place in your marketing mix, and need to be monitored as it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Erno, what is the common challenges you face when you're tracking Google Ads performance with clients?
Tracking the lead performance on the business. That's the hardest part, because you can take the technical part. It's pretty easy. Well, some people miss it, but let's say you're done with the technical part. You track all the for conversion. You track all the phone calls coming to your business, but it's still not real value to the business, or it not exactly can be all phone calls or submission same value to your business, and there are differences, and that's when you need to be much more cautious, and that's when you need to be much more smart. So for example, a form submission, so if you're saying, yeah, I got 44 submission, great, I've got 20 phone calls in a month. This is not real performance. These are vanity metrics. Till there are 40 form submissions, 20 applying for a job, the other 15 spam. There are others that out of area, and then you got 40 form submission, and you cannot service anyone from that 40. So you need to be break it down, those leads into which leads are better, which leads spam, which leads real zero value to the business, and these are the ones that actually qualified lead. These are the ones that close deals, won deals, and that's when you got into the real performance of Google Ads, because if it's just three qualified leads, then that's your performance, and the very same applies to e-commerce. So 24 orders, 150 orders, whatever orders are really nice, looks nice on the paper. Well, how many comes from brand? How many comes from returning visitors? And how many comes from some real new orders, new people to the business? Because if 110 is from people you would buy from me anyhow, then that's a very bad performance for me. Well, so every tracking tool sees slightly different portion of this whole picture, and Google Ads, Google Analytics will never show you the same. And if it just get even worse, if you bring Facebook ads or any other platform into the equation. So in many cases, what I saw that agencies, freelancers reporting, this is your Facebook ROAS, this is your Google ROAS, this is how many conversions Facebook got you, this is how many conversion Google had you. So you have 1,700 conversions a month, and you go into Shopify, and Shopify say, well, yeah, this month there were 500 orders altogether. Where are those 200 comes from? Because there is an overlap between what Facebook and what Google shows as a conversion to your business. So that's why this is kind of like the most common challenge, I think, is to identify the real performance on your business, and trying to unpick how each system has influence on each other, and how each system has influence of the bottom line of your business.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, in terms of return on investment for e commerce, we have and we hear stuff like return on ad spend. in terms of what is the context of, sorry, I'm going to cut that out.
Yeah, no worries.
What is ROI in the context of Google Ads? And what's the difference between ROAS and return on investment?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked because there is a confusion and these are definitely not the same metrics.
Hmm.
So ROAS is basically the generated revenue on your ad spend. So it's like a simple division, and ROI is basically measures the profitability. So it's net profit divided by the total investment, and it's a percentage. So it gives you a bit broader view of your marketing investment, because it also includes the expenses, the personal expenses, the softwares you pay for to run your Google Ads account. So kind of like everything, the overhead, and actually it can be negative as well. So meanwhile, ROAS is basically going from zero till the skies. The actual return on investment is can be negative if it's not making you money. But those metrics, so both metrics are a bit flawed, and I hope we are going to talk about it pretty soon, because those are very much favor some type of campaign. So those are favoring the especially ROAS. So ROAS favors your brand campaign, ROAS favors your bottom of the funnel campaign, and that's where it's a bit more complicated, and I think that's why we need other metrics
So
to measure.
yeah, so does ROAS matter then? The return on ad spend, is it something that companies should focus on? The reason why I ask is if you look at the broader picture as well, the company is also spending on Facebook ads, on maybe television, radio, and things like that. So actually, the ad spend is broader than just Google alone. So should companies actually pay? Does ROAS matter?
Well, yes and no. So it's not that it's not that black and white, because yes, it does matter in its sense, and in another sense it doesn't. So for example, it's really going to immediate gains. So so obviously your brand campaign, your remarketing campaign will dominate your ROAS. So if you look into the account, pick those campaigns, you will see really high ROAS. And if you pick other campaigns like a YouTube campaign, or a more broader search campaign, you will see really bad ROAS. So also it doesn't really factor in new customers to your business. So there is a lifetime value usually in every new customer that's not factored into ROAS. And there are certain campaign types, performance max, which likes to gobble up all the ROAS, because it also has a remarketing piece, and it also has a brand term piece, and those are the ones that usually deliver really high ROAS. So, but you can't just distribute the budget based on the campaign's ROAS, because you will miss out a lot of higher funnel opportunities. You need to cut this out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I would say you need to have some campaigns where you just don't care about the ROAS at all. They are just there for generating demand, to reach out new customers, reach out potential people who need your service. Because if you are just measuring the ROAS for every campaign, you will lose eventually,
Mm.
and you will lose a lot of new potential customers eventually.
Yeah, because I was privileged to work in a campaign with an agency as part of I was the CRO person and working with the Google Ads team. And the key metrics this e-commerce client was just ROAS, and it was difficult campaign to manage at the time. And we were recommending that the business owner looks at a broader marketing campaign on other metrics. So, in your opinion, what metrics is then better than ROAS, and why are those metrics better than ROAS to avoid people just focusing on ROAS alone, to kind of broaden and help them think outside of the box?
Yes, yeah. So there are a few other metrics that I would recommend to watch. There is no kind of like single metric. So I would say, yeah, instead of ROAS, check this and you will be fine. It's a mix, to be honest. So one metric I like is MER, marketing efficiency ratio. It's basically total revenue slash total ad spend, so total spend on the marketing. It gives you a really, really good overall view of how the marketing channel is working at the moment. So it won't tell you that put more money into Facebook, put more money into Google Ads, or stop this campaign, start the other campaign. But at least you have a general metric that, okay, well, this is how much I spend on marketing and this is how much I earn from it. And we have a client come to us about 8 months ago, and they were with another agency, and we looked at the MER and it was like 2.5, and that's really, really low. So you either need to have a product with high margin to have an effective MER at 2.5, or you need to have a lot of returning customers, like a supplement brand. But this wasn't a supplement brand, so it's a men's fashion brand. So for that, 2.5 was really, really, really low, and we were focusing on, okay, well, how we can improve the mare, what kind of like we can spend, not hurting the overall revenue of the business. And in 7 8 months time, we managed to bring the mare from 2.5 to 4.5.
Hmm.
And yes, we lost a few hundred purchases along the way per month. However, if you look the broader picture, the mass look like something. They spent 30,000 to earn 40,000 more.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that doesn't really make a sense for me. So that's why I think MER is good to look at your marketing channel in a broader way. The other I would recommend is new customer acquisition. How it's going, are the number of new customers are increasing, or is it shrinking? Because it shows that, okay, well, how effectively am I reaching new customers to the business? The other metric I would check is the returning versus new user ratio, because we also work with another business, and there are two stories here basically with this business. One is that they said, well, we are spending too much on the branded campaign, so let's just cut it in half and see how it goes, and say, okay, but there are three other competitors already um, already bidding for your brand term in Google Ads, because we saw that. So it's a bit risky to do it. Yeah. Well, let's cut it anyway. Okay, so obviously cut it, and the number of returning purchases started to decline.
Hmm.
So I can't recall the numbers. Pretty much shocked them after like 2 months, 3 months, that how much returning customer they lost, just because they cut the brand spending by too much. And the
So
other is, yeah, sorry.
so basically what I'm thinking here is when the returning customers type in the brand term, they are expecting to just go to the brand. But when they now see the competitors as an option, then you're opening the option for them to even have a look at the competitor, and then that way you're
Yeah,
losing those. Okay.
yes, yeah. And if the competitor put their a good landing page, this brand versus the other, um, put in some discounts, your first order 30-day guarantee, something like that,
Yeah.
they can siphon those or part of those customers from you.
Yeah.
And also this happened, same happened with this brand. They were quite unlucky, I guess. But so they employed, so we were managing the Amazon PPC ads and the Google PPC ads for them, and they got a pitch from other agency to manage their Facebook ads. So so really nice pitch, from $0 spend on Facebook, $70,000 in 3 months. So pretty bold. Okay, well,
That's a
um,
lot.
yeah, that's a lot. So basically, oh yeah, we will chunk this money to Facebook. Oh, it's great. And then the next month we double it, and the next month we double it. Okay, well, good luck with it. But anyhow, so well, it was my customer, so okay, well, let's do it. So I had some bad feelings with it, but okay. So the first month they spent like 20,000 on Facebook, and guess how the new user graph look like? It's like
It went down.
exactly, no, not went down, but exactly the same amount of new users. Oh, sorry, I forgot about this experiment, that they pitched that, well, we are going to target new users only, so that 20,000 was and the 70,000 was supposed to reach new customers that you are not reaching through Google.
Yeah.
So this is how they pitched the whole thing. And then after the first 20,000, it was like a flat line.
Hmm.
They haven't. I couldn't even see any increase
Hmm.
uh, in in new customer acquisition. So that's why I think it's important to, yeah, look at your new user acquisition, look at obviously the returning users as well. And this is a really, really important metrics for your brand.
Yeah.
Also, there are kind of like no apples to apples comparisons. So it's really hard to compare Google and Facebook. You can compare Google Ads to Microsoft Ads,
Hmm.
but you can't really compare Google Ads to Facebook Ads.
Yeah.
The other important metrics I would say is lifetime value. So I think it's important to know that, and most of the businesses I talk with, they just don't know this very important metric. Okay, look, what's your lifetime value? It's like, well, I think it's 2000, I think it's 500. The most I would say extreme was that the business said, yeah, well, it's 2000. It was a supplement brand. So yeah, it's around 2000. So obviously, we planned accordingly, started to run a campaign, and we saw the returning customers, new customers ratio, and this somehow just didn't add up. So we said, okay, well, can we just calculate the lifetime value, maybe? So to see, because I see some discrepancies in the data, and we calculated it, and actually it was more like $700 than 2000. So they were way more over attributed the customer's attachment to the brand than actually they were attached to the brand.
Mm.
So it obviously matters more some businesses than another. For supplement brands, usually it's really important and they are just shooting for usually the lifetime value, but there are other businesses that still need to calculate that metric. Okay, well, how many belts the user buy from us during x amount of years and such.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I worked with a client a few years ago, and the product is something that when you install in your house, you're probably not going to need another one for the next 20 years or even so. It was like a
Yeah.
metal product. So with those kind of brands, it's difficult to measure the lifetime value with that. So when you're, say, for example, you're getting leads from Google Ads, how do you know if those leads are actually working for your business? In your experience of working with home improvement websites, e-commerce website, how do they know, not e-commerce, like home improvement and lead generation website, how do they know that the Google ad is actually working for their business? Or should they focus their budget on maybe radio ads and other ads? How do you know that Google ads is actually working for a customer?
Yeah, so for lead generation type businesses, I recommend to have a CRM system and to track what's happening with the leads. It's not just for us to track the Google Ads campaign. It's mostly for them to track everything else and then don't drop the ball anywhere. So I think it's really really important to build a feedback loop um, between any marketing channel and your CRM system. Given that you cannot really track everything, but at least what you can track, you track it. So we took over an account, again, an example, commercial cleaning business, um, many leads coming into them, but they somehow weren't happy. So we dig deep and in their CRM system, which the other agency didn't do. I think it was a mistake from their end, but this is how we got business. So and most of the leads, even though they were qualified, um, they were for the wrong type of service when there were margins were really low, or they just needed a um one-time cleaning instead of recurring ones.
Mm.
So that's how I think you can improve Google Ads. Is you need to understand, I mean, as an agency or freelancer, you need to understand your customers, what they are doing, what type of leads they are needing at the moment, what the qualified leads means to the business, and if there is any difference between the leads. And yeah, but it was 3 months. So it's not like we just flipped the switch and went to having a non-profitable campaign to a profitable one. Because when you start to target a different type of audience, especially in the B2B sector, your prospecting campaigns are just fine, switched in a day, but your remarketing campaign is already filled with bad data. So even if you start doing the prospecting right, you have like 29 days of bad data in the retargeting funnel. So that needs to be cleared, and that's when the new campaign can really pick up. That's when the new campaign um can
So
deliver the leads.
if you need help making sure that you're getting the best from your Google ads by actually understanding that you're measuring what matters and you're not wasting your ads budget or wasting your campaigns, reach out to Erno and he'll be glad to help you. If you're listening to this on YouTube, you see Erno's contact details in the show notes. If you're listening on the podcast platform, you see his name also in the show notes. So you can just Google him, connect with him on LinkedIn, and reach out to him. Thank you very much. We'll reach out to you in the next episode. Speak soon. Bye.